Hi everyone, welcome back to another one of my monthly forecasts. If this is the first time you're seeing me, my name is Angela Peterson and I am a psychic medium and shamanic practitioner in Sedona, Arizona. I hope you all had an amazing month of February. This month we're going to be talking about the overall energies for March 2025. So we are officially in eclipse season, which means that we are going to be having a lunar eclipse this month. March 13th, 14th, depending on where you are in the world. And it is in the sign of Virgo. What that means is that the energy of this month is really about what needs to be released in order for the new to take place. This is very much a death and rebirth kind of month. So when I journeyed into the energy of March, I kept getting a very strong water element feeling. But the water element, the way that it was showing up, it was showing up in this way of feeling very submerged. So like the depths of the water, the deepest, darkest aspects of the water, and also the frozen element in water, which really represents fear in Chinese medicine. Given all of the themes that are going to be playing out this month, my idea about the feeling of being submerged under the water and even the frozen element of fear has a lot to do with the fear of losing control. This is one of the main reasons why human beings refuse to change. Change is something that you don't have control over. Well, I don't know that you have control over really anything. But we like to think that we do. So we definitely, as human beings, can create the illusion that we have control in various ways in our lives. And with Virgo being the sign that the lunar eclipse is falling into, then the themes or the lessons are really about releasing control. It's about learning how to surrender. It's learning how to release perfectionism and criticism even. The overall theme of this month is really about releasing control and allowing. It's allowing alignment and moving out of the way of that alignment. We have two animal spirits showing up for this month. The first is the moth spirit. And on the card it says surrender now. So when you think about moth spirit, moths are very much drawn to the light, but in their pursuit of the light, they are very obsessive, right? They become obsessed with getting to that light, and sometimes they fly into the fire and they die. So something that would need to be looked at this month in your life is if there's anything that you feel very obsessive about. Is there a certain aspect in a job that you just feel obsessive about getting done or completed? Is there a relationship you feel obsessed with? Are there any addictive patterns or addictive behaviors? How do you go about the process of trying to stay in control of your life? What patterns, what jobs, what relationships, what behaviors need to be released or let go of? What obsessive tendencies do you have that need to be released or let go of? A friend of mine recently said to me that she feels like we as a collective are playing out in the tarot deck, the Tower card and the Fool card. And I could not agree with her more. The Tower card is all about disruption, rupture, things falling apart, things ending, and sometimes things ending in a very shocking and painful manner. But the more that we resist that tower, right, the more we resist even the death process, the ending of something, the more we suffer. It is necessary for many things to be changing right now. It is necessary for many things to be ending right now. But we as a collective, even though we're in that ending, even though we're in that tower moment, we're also in the Fool card, just like she said. So the Fool card is all about taking a leap of faith. Right? Now, I recently in my life, I'm already being so influenced by these energies, but I recently took a huge leap of faith. I quit working for a certain retreat company that I was working for, and so now I'm a completely solo act, which is a huge leap of faith for me. And it's interesting because it just happened. Like, it was just an ending, like, boom, okay, wow, this is over. Moving on, right? And I knew though, I knew for months that it needed to change or that it needed to end. And if it didn't change, it needed to end, right? And so I ended up taking, you know, that leap of faith, and I trusted. I knew in my heart it was the right thing to do. So I did it. And there are other things that are coming up in my life that are also going to be changing. And I just feel like I stepped off the cliff and that I'm free falling. And I don't know if many people are feeling this way right now, but I do think that this is part of the collective energy. It's when, you know, when one thing ends, another begins. But sometimes we have to take a leap of faith without knowing that things are gonna get better, or without knowing that we're gonna be caught, and just having trust that we will be caught, which that's what the Fool card is. And I can promise you that where we are heading as a collective is going to be better in the long run. So we're all being affected by these energies right now. And the other animal that we got is the white raven. And it says, trust in the magic. So with these two cards combined, you know, you have the moth, which is saying surrender, and you have the white raven that's saying trust in the magic. So this is really big surrender energy, and trusting that you're going to be caught on the other side of any changes or leaps of faith that you're making currently. We as a collective are going through really big sort of upheaval, changing on a collective scale, right? A governmental scale. And I have a message for, you know, those of you who are feeling really upset about some of the changes that are being implemented, especially when it comes to the United States government. I want you to think about something. Our true choice point, or crossroads as a collective, happened back in 2012. Many people thought that it happened in 2020, but it didn't. The real crossroads was in 2012, and this crossroads was the opportunity for humanity to choose the direction, the path that they wanted to take in order to wake up and become more conscious of themselves and the planet. It wasn't about whether or not we wanted to. It was how we were going to implement the changes that need to happen in order for us to still live here and be a part of this earthly life. So the change was inevitable. The way that the changes played out was up to us as a collective. To make these changes, we had to be honest with ourselves. We had to look within at the things that make us uncomfortable. And we had to acknowledge the human shadow and the way that the human shadow has been playing out in very dysfunctional patterns within our lives, within our relationships, within the ecosystem, the governmental aspect, all the structures in the system. Because so many of these things have been playing out so unconsciously within us as humans and creating so much damage to our souls, to the earth. So when this choice point came in 2012, so many humans resisted the messages that they were being given, the calls to awakening, the calls to consciousness. Humans resist change. And what that means is that we collectively chose a more difficult route forward for the changes to take place. We all have shadow aspects to ourselves that are not integrated. And most likely all of us have resistance to some of those aspects and to the integration process of those aspects. This means that all of us contributed to where we are now as a collective. So it's really important that instead of getting sucked into the blame game, which totally outsources our power, we need to look within our own resistance. And we need to be honest with ourselves about the ways that we haven't made the changes that we need to, that we've known we've needed to make for our own health and wellness, and the wellness of others, the wellness of the planet, the wellness of the ecosystem, the whole structure that we live in. Every choice you make, every choice I make, is a choice for humanity. So part of this month is really looking within. It's looking at the parts that you are accountable for as an individual. So if you are upset about the changes that are happening, then look within and say, what changes have I not made that I need to make for the betterment of myself and the betterment of the world around me? Because we can all do better. We all have a role to play. And if you don't take accountability for that role, then you're not contributing to the betterment of humanity. So even though we picked a more difficult path, which it's turning out to really not be as difficult as it was originally projected to be, which is a great thing. That does mean that people are waking up. That does mean that people are making better choices. But the more we do that, the less destructive impact we have for, the next few months, the next year, the next 2 years, 3 years, so on and so forth. So many of you are feeling this change. You're feeling just energetically within your being, you can feel this, and so there is deep-seated fear, this submerged fear that is coming up with all of these changes that are happening. So you've got to pay attention to that part of you that resists change. This month, the medicine that is going to help you the most is surrender. It is trusting in the magic. So this month, a key word, other than surrender, would be to allow. Allowing is like dropping deeply within yourself and feeling into what I know my heart wants, what I know my heart needs, what I know my heart desires, and just allowing yourself to move in that direction. There is going to be fear that comes up, and that's okay. It's the acknowledgement of the fear. It's feeling it, processing it in the body, which means acknowledging where you're holding it, where you're feeling it, breathing into it. You can journal about it. Grab a piece of paper and draw your emotion with colored pencils or colored crayons. Do it in an abstract way, as if you are, a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old, and just get that emotion out on paper. And then look at it and see how charged it is, right? You can rip it up, you can burn it, and then do it again and keep doing it until you can see on paper that your emotion has dissipated. This is something that my shaman used to have me do frequently, and it was very, very beneficial because we are, both physical and metaphysical beings. The physical aspect of release is very, very important. So if you need to go out in nature and grab some sticks and put fear into the stick and then break them or burn them, or whatever it is that you need to do to help yourself release, do that this month. Many of us right now are free falling, and there's going to be fear that comes up in that feeling of like I just leaped off the cliff and just waiting for to hit the water, or waiting to be caught, or just waiting for something. But spirit is there to catch you. And that's really what the White Raven is saying. White Raven is about, synchronicity. So really pay attention this month to any powerful synchronicities in your life. There's even the, number 66 on the card here. So anything double, angel number 66. If you are seeing the same symbols over and over, if you are hearing the same phrases over and over, or getting the same message repeated to you, it's really pay attention to that this month. It is going to be a bit of a tumultuous month, but like I said, your antidote for that is faith, it's trust, and it's surrender. It is to lean into what you would normally be resisting. There's a song that came into my mind when I was sitting with the month of March. The song is called What I Cannot Change by Leanne Rimes. And it's very similar to the Serenity Prayer. If any of you know the Serenity Prayer, that is something that a lot of people who have been in AA learn. But I learned the Serenity Prayer a long time ago, and I actually found it very useful for my tendency to try to control things in my life. And this song was a really powerful song for me at one point that I listened to almost every day during that time of my life. I'll post a YouTube video that has that song with the lyrics under this video, so if anybody would like to listen to it, it's a really beautiful song. Then the link will be below the video for that. So the Serenity Prayer is God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. I would say that's your prayer for this month. The good news is that there is a lot of positive changes. So again, the endings always have a beginning. And we are entering into spring, Spring Equinox, March 21st, which is all about new beginnings. And I did actually see a bunny rabbit in my vision of this month. I saw a bunny rabbit hopping toward the rising sun, so the direction of the east. And rabbits represent fertility, new growth, and new life. Get clear about what you want that to look like, and if you already know, then stay committed to that, but move into the space of just allowing the birth to happen and the death to take place as well. I'm sending you all so much love and blessings for the month ahead. Take care.